Uh, Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anant Akash Sharma, PGT Biology, and today we are going to start a very interesting topic of class 10th, that is life processes. So, what are life processes? Let me ask you something. Can we survive without having food or without having water? And can we survive without inhaling oxygen and exhaling out carbon dioxide? So these are the simple basic processes in every organism that must be there for their survival. And these are the life processes. So the definition of life process is life process are the basic process help them survive and maintain life. Done? So in this chapter we are going to learn about four basic processes, four life processes. One is nutrition. Second, respiration. Third, transportation. And fourth is excretion. Excretion. Right. So these are the basic life processes we are going to learn in this chapter. But for today, because it is a short demo class, we are only going to talk about this, that is nutrition. Right? Nutrition. So now we will talk about what is nutrition. So it is also a very simple, you must have learned in class 7th कि nutrition क्या होता है. So nutrition is also a process by which an organism take its food, obtain its food for its survival, right? And for the maintenance of life. The nutrition is the process by which organism obtain its food like us. We also obtain our food for what? So that we can live, so that we can survive, so that we can maintain our body functions. Right? So this is nutrition. Now there are different type of nutritions and different type of organisms. First is autotrophic nutrition. And second is heterotrophic nutrition. So these are the two types of basic type of nutrition that we have. What is autotrophic nutrition? We have learned in class 7. You must recall you should think what was autotrophic nutrition. Let me explain. So autotrophic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which organisms can make their own food themselves. They do not depend on others for their food. What is the example? The examples are, what are the examples? The examples are plants, algae, some bacteria, and then planktons also, etc. Right? So they can make their own food. They have several functions in their cells that can help them make their own food. And second is heterotrophic nutrition. Now what is heterotrophic nutrition? Heterotrophic nutrition is opposite of this. If they can make their own food, they cannot. So they will depend on other organisms for their their food. So what is heterotrophic nutrition? It is a type of nutrition in which organism cannot make its own food themselves and they depend on other animals for their food. Right? So we all are heterotrophic organisms, be it us, humans, pig, deer, they all are heterotrophic organisms. And what they do? Heterotrophic nutrition. So those organisms which have their food through heterotrophic nutrition, they are called heterotrophic organisms. And those who use autotrophic nutrition is called autotrophic organisms. Like plant is an autotrophic organism, while humans are heterotrophic organisms. Right? Sure. Now there are different types of heterotrophic nutrition because different animals derive their food from different types. Like let's just see what are the different types. So basically there are two different types. Heterotrophic nutrition. One is saprophytic. Another one is parasitic. And then there is holozoic. Saprophytic type of heterotrophic nutrition is a kind of nutrition in which organisms depend on the food which is dead and decay. They depend on the dead and decay organisms. Right? For example, yeast, mushroom, so saprophytic type of nutrition is a type of nutrition in which organisms take their food from dead and decay organisms. They derive their food from dead and decay organisms. Next is parasitic. Parasites क्या होते हैं? तो what are parasites? Yeah, what is parasitic type of nutrition? Parasitic nutrition is a type of nutrition in which organisms derive their food from other organisms. Like they feed on them. For example, lice, जिसको जू बोलते हैं. ठीक, they are on the head, and there is a tapeworm. Tapeworms are present inside our intestine or our stomach, and there they derive their food without killing us. They derive their food. Okay, so this is the two types of saprophytic and parasitic, and the other one is holozoic, in which the organism engulf its food, like we engulf our food. ठीक, so those are called holozoic animals and holozoic type of nutrition. Right? Okay. Shall we start autotrophic nutrition in plants? We all know that plants make their own food. Why can't we make our own food? It is because they have a very special organelle in their cells that is called chloroplast. Because of this chloroplast and the pigment inside it helps them to make their own food. Right? So which organelle is this? Chloroplast that makes the difference in our cell and in plant cell. So this is the chloroplast. Right? One of the difference you can learn, this is the difference between plant cell and animal cell also. We don't have chloroplast, but plants have. And plants help them to do this chloroplast helps them to do autotrophic nutrition. Right? So what is that process called by which plants can make their own food? It is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Now, if someone is making food, there must be some raw materials. Without having milk or water, can we make tea? No, we can't. Just like that, in photosynthesis, plants also need some raw materials so that they can make their food. And what is their food? Their food is basically what they want to make. They will make glucose. They will make glucose. But how will they make a glucose? For that, they need some raw materials. So for photosynthesis, we need some raw materials. For making food in plants, they need carbon dioxide. They need very important thing, that is sunlight, and they need water, that is H2O, and they need a very special pigment called chlorophyll. These are the raw materials. These are the raw materials by which photosynthesis can be done, and they can make their own food themselves. Right? So what are these? Carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, and chlorophyll. And what they will make? They will make glucose as their food. Right? I'm just writing it. So here we should know the definition of photosynthesis. Now how can we define photosynthesis? So photosynthesis is a process in plants and in algae by which organisms, photosynthesis is a process by which plants make their own food with the help of carbon dioxide, sunlight, chlorophyll, and water. Right? So I should write it also. It is a process in green plants by which makes its food, by which plant makes its food. Carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. And then they use chlorophyll and we can say chloroplast for this purpose. Right? Photosynthesis. I should write the whole chemical equation here. It is carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight. In the presence of sunlight. And there must be chlorophyll pigment. It is a green pigment that makes the plant parts green. Carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and chlorophyll presence. And what it will make? It will make glucose, that is C6H12O6 plus oxygen. Right? Just learn it like this, and then we will balance it also in further classes. Just learn the basic thing first. Right? So this is the equation. The equation means that carbon dioxide and water is needed by the plant, and sunlight and chlorophyll, and what will they make? They will make glucose and oxygen. So if someone asks you, how does oxygen evolve by the plant? So it is because of the process called photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, oxygen is evolved. Right? Now what are the things, what are the steps by which this photosynthesis happens in the plant? So these are the three basic steps. These three basic steps are: first, capturing of light; second is converting of light into chemical energy; splitting of water. And splitting of water. And third, reduction of carbon dioxide into glucose. So these are the three basic steps by which this photosynthesis happens in the plant. First, capturing of light. The light is captured. How? I'll tell you later. First, this light of the sunlight of the sun is captured by the plant, and then this light energy will convert into chemical energy, and then there splitting of water also occurs. How? I'll tell you later. And then reduction of carbon dioxide into glucose. These are the three steps that has to be learned in this board. Also, these three steps are come to learn it as it is. Okay, so where does this photosynthesis occur? It is not in the NCERT, but you should know. And you should know the structure of chloroplast that you have learned in class 9. So I am making a very basic structure of chloroplast, and let's show you where does this photosynthesis occur in the chloroplast. So chloroplast is a plastic which has a green pigment called chlorophyll. So I am making a very basic structure. It is a double membrane structure. It is like this, and it is a very simple structure just to memorize you how the chloroplast works. So it is chloroplast, it is inner, it is outer membrane, it is inner membrane, then it is called grana. This pile of coin-like structure is called grana, and one coin-like structure, this one coin-like structure, these are called thylakoids. Thyla, right? And this is matrix. This is matrix. So these are the parts that we should know right now. Otherwise, there are different parts also. There is stroma lamella, there is stroma, but here it is not included. Okay, so this is chloroplast. So where does this photosynthesis occur? You know there are three steps that has to be done by the plants for the photosynthesis. So what are those three? Just reminder it again. It is capturing of light, then conversion of this light energy into chemical energy, and splitting of water, and third is reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose. Okay. Now this is the structure where which step of where occurs, we will see. ठीक, shall I rub it so that I can write it over? See, there are dark reaction and light reaction. We are dividing those three steps into dark reaction and light reaction. What is dark reaction? What is light reaction? First you should know. Light reaction means there has to be some processes in the photosynthesis that must be done in the presence of light. And what are those processes? Those were the two steps. First step and second step of the photosynthesis. First was capturing of light. Second, conversion of light energy. Conversion of light energy to solar. Yeah, we can say very solar energy. Solar energy to chemical energy. Why are we doing so? Why not we, but why plants do this thing? They capture the light first and then they convert the solar energy into chemical energy. That chemical energy we are forming is in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate chemical. ठीक, so we are converting it into the solar energy is converting it into chemical energy. Why? Because we need this energy further to convert carbon dioxide into glucose. Right? So light reaction में क्या होता है? Light reaction में there is supposed to be capturing of light and then this light will convert into chemical energy. And chemical energy in the form of ATP. Those ATP will further use to convert carbon dioxide into glucose. This is the whole process. ठीक. तो in dark reaction this carbon dioxide will convert into glucose and in light reaction process these two things will happen. ठीक. They cannot be done without light. So that is why it is called light reaction. Right? But here, carbon dioxide converted to glucose. It is not that in dark only it will happen. No. Just to make a contrast, if it is light, then it is dark. Dark reaction. So the simple meaning is carbon dioxide converted to glucose can be done in light also and dark also. But the name is dark reaction. So don't get confused that if it is dark then it has to be done in dark only without light only. No, it is not there. It is done in both light and dark. Now, just to make the names very similar or the opposite, they wrote it light reaction and dark reaction. Okay, so what happens in light reaction is these two steps and reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose and dark reaction. Now where does this occur? Where does this occur? It occurs in the chloroplast. But which part of the chloroplast works? How? Let's see. You must have learned that there is thylakoid or there is granule. I made a pile-like structure. Pile of pine-like structure is called granule. Right? So the capturing of light and conversion occurs happens in the thylakoid. This is thylakoid, right? So the first two steps occurs in thylakoid. Now I have shown you one thylakoid. Thylakoid also has two membranes, inner membrane and outer membrane, and there are photosystems present. These photosystems capture the light. And because of this light capturing, inside the lumen, this is called lumen of the thylakoid. And inside this lumen, H2O will break down into H2 plus oxygen. And here this oxygen form. So what were the first two steps? Capturing of light and conversion of light into ATP. Right? And splitting of water. So here it is splitting. Where? In the thylakoid and in the lumen of the thylakoid. Okay. Then the electrons will get excited and from there the energy will be produced. This is photosystem 2 and this is photosystem 1. The pigments are present there, the light comes and the electron get excited and it comes in the electron transport chain and then it will form ATPs and NADPH. Right. This is called photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. And then here it is ATPase that makes ATP. That you will learn in class 11th, but you should know the basics of where does this photosynthesis occur, how does it happen in the chloroplast, in which part of the chloroplast does it occur. So the first two steps, capturing of light and then converting into ATP. This is done in thylakoids. This is done in thylakoid. Next reaction is dark reaction. Dark reaction is conversion of carbon dioxide into glucose. This occurs in matrix. This occurs in matrix. We made it like this, and these are thylakoids and granule. And this whole part is called that helps to convert carbon dioxide into glucose. And there is one cycle that occurs, and that is called Kelvin cycle. Kelvin cycle. So what we have learned today, we have learned about what is nutrition, types of nutrition. There is holozoic, saprophytic, parasitic, and then we talked about photosynthesis. How does it occur? What is photosynthesis? In which part of the plant it occurs? How does it occur? You know, so you must have learned something new today. I hope so. Thank you for this class.